Welcome to Grit, the Real Estate Growth Mindset podcast, hosted by Brian Charlesworth, founder of Sisu. Sisu provides growth automation software for real estate. You'll hear stories from real estate thought and technology leaders, team owners, and brokers on how they grew their business in a rapidly changing industry. You'll learn how to transform your brokerage and teams into a high-performing and analytics-driven business so you have a new, durable, competitive advantage against disruption in your market. So let's get right into it.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for
you.
having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, our pleasure. So it's always fun when we have power women just dominating, and I'm glad I get to spend time with you two. So before we get started, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your business. Hedda and Raquel, I've known them now for maybe 6 months. And anyway, tell us a little bit about your business. You guys have a little bit of a unique business and what you're doing, and maybe you can just share that to get started so everyone's kind of on the same page here.
Well, we are a brokerage. Hedda's the owner. I'm her COO. This year, we have experienced a tremendous amount of growth. But with the growth, we didn't know exactly where to get started, which is where Sisu came in.
So we are in San Diego County, and we basically have been, I've been a realtor for 14 years, and I've owned Palisades Realty just about 8 years. And for so long, we didn't want to grow. It was mainly me, and I was afraid of growth. And so that whole thing changed last year. Actually, it was kind of like an overhaul of not just my mindset, but also overhauling the entire brokerage and taking a look at it again. And that's when Raquel came in.
Let's stop there for a minute, because I think I don't want to just blow over that. That is so important to really talk about. You admit, and thank you for admitting, that you were afraid of growth.
Right.
I think more of us than we know are afraid of growth. So we do things to hinder that growth because our subconscious mind is telling us that. So I want to take a second, Hedda, to just explore and discover with you how you got to that next level.
Well, that saying, the 3-year, 5 or 7-year itch with agents. And so I thought, at the time, Raquel wasn't in the picture, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise that all of these things were happening to me, because it really did force me to take a look at everything else that was happening. We were at about 14 people, including staff. And, I lost a third of my crew. And I think it was, I don't know, maybe things were getting a little stagnant. And in my mind, it was, in my mind, I thought things were fine, and it wasn't. And it showed from people that left me. So either, and I remember sitting here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make some major changes. And then it didn't, even though people left me, the business didn't change. There was a lot of business that was coming in, and it was a lot harder to contain growth than obviously trying to make that, that major change. Like, hey, I need options. So really at that point, I ended up having to work twice as much, or actually at that point, maybe 3 times as much, because I was providing leads to my agents, and business didn't stop even though people left. And everyone was just overwhelmed, and I, including myself. And so I had to make that quick decision of, I need to I can't turn off the business. Obviously, at this point, I have to keep going. And so I made the decision of hiring people. I hired, it wasn't as intentional. It was more about feeling in, just having a warm body. So hey, please help me. Just anyone. It was more to a point where I was begging just about anyone to come on board at that point. And then luckily, the people that I don't know, it just sort of happened. Everyone just out of the blue, random people or agents just came to me. Like, even
So
though,
isn't it amazing how sometimes the challenges, the things we think are going to destroy us, actually make us stronger and get us there faster. And
right.
I think that's what I see happen to you here. And I don't think it's a coincidence that these people came to you, because I think you were in this mindset with the blinders on for so long, and it made you open up to being open to, hey, anybody, I'm here, let's make this happen. And they started coming. So
Yeah, they started coming. This is not a joke. Like, I would get a text. I felt like there was an AI listening and watching everything I did out there in the universe, and bringing in
which there may have been.
yeah, there may have been. Yeah, and people were texting me, emailing me. Like, all of a sudden, I had this incredible group of people joining me, and it wasn't just anyone. They were experienced agents, and for years, I couldn't attract experienced agents. And they all had the same common goals. They all wanted to grow, and I had to look at myself and say, I need to take this to the next level. And then we started becoming more intentional, and then Brittany's not here, but anyway, it was the staff was down to myself and Brittany at this point. And here, telling her like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And all of a sudden, all these people are coming in. We have to be smart, and they're coming in. Now they're coming to us for leadership. I was about to hire somebody else, and then Brittany looked at me and said, there you go again. You're just hiring just about anyone because you're desperate. And then, so anyway, long story short, that's when Raquel came into the picture. I became very selective. She was actually one of the three people that I interviewed for a COO. Well, at the time, I didn't know what I was interviewing for. And then ultimately, I realized that my problem was I didn't know how to implement things. I was really good at having this massive vision and then work really hard to keep that vision small. And then I think it was really important to understand for any team leaders or brokerage owner to understand what type of person they are. Are you a visionary, or do you know how to implement and integrate things? And in our situation, I'm the opposite of Raquel. I come to the office day in and day out, and I have these big ideas. And Raquel's job is really like sifting through those ideas and telling me like, yes, no, yes, no.
You are the
And
visionary, she is the operator, right?
right, and she basically puts them together, and she keeps me in line, and so does Brittany. So so then I went on, and then I had to change back in the day. Okay, well, this is just like a year ago. Everything I decided, whatever I wanted to do, it was a decision that I always made on my own, and I'd get everyone's feedback after the fact. So this time I said, well, I've been doing X, Y, and Z, and it hasn't really quite worked. So I need to start asking other people's feedback, so, and Raquel, Brittany, everyone, I make everyone involved in the company with the decision. So before, the interview process was me and then hire, and then I tell them what needs to be done. And now it's like it's a four-part process now. So there's Brittany, Raquel, and then my husband is our broker, Tom. And so they get to tell me yes or no. And so I think having more, people helping us dissect, that's really important. So I think the mindset has to start. And one thing I've learned all throughout this process is you should really look forward to growing. Your goal should, I mean, speaking from experience, okay, you really should look forward to growing and should plan on growing, because there's freedom. If one word can describe what growth means, it means freedom. And freedom for yourself, freedom for everybody. And yeah, I think that's what it is, like allowing other people to stay in their own lane.
How long ago was that it was down to just the two of you?
Brittany,
Yeah.
that would have been probably, I would say June of last year.
Of 2019 or 2020?
Yeah, last year. So just
2019.
yeah,
Okay.
and then it was just, and then we were down to 10 agents. So 10 agents, and then Brittany and myself, and my husband, who is our, who is our broker.
And
And the other agents at the time, they were all part-time.
okay. So how many agents do you have today?
We're 30, 32.
32.
Yeah.
32
So like,
agents. So congratulations.
thank you. And we're gonna grow into, we're probably hoping by the end of this year to 50. It's an intentional growth, Brian. It's not something, we're very selective now, and then it's very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
We don't just open up our brokerage to just anybody. We're looking for the right fit to our culture, because
Yes.
we really have established what that culture is.
Yes. Very exciting. So congratulations, by the way. That's tremendous. So let's talk about what you guys expect to achieve this year, 2020, and what your vision is of next year.
So this year, as I mentioned, the goal is to go to 50 agents. The reason for that is because the amount of business. So we grow as the amount of business is coming in to our brokerage. So we don't just grow because we just need agents. We've had other teams that have approached to join us. In fact, we have told them no because they didn't seem to be the right fit for us. And also, growing into different markets. The goal is to go into other markets, where right now we're already in Riverside, like Temecula area.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is to go up north also. So we're thinking of going to Orange County.
So your growth is going to be opening a new brokerage in Orange County, as well as Riverside, and and recruiting more agents.
Here locally, yes.
Okay. How many transactions will you guys do this year?
Okay, so this is really, I have to tell you guys. So this is really a plug for Sisu, because we love Sisu. We had no idea that you guys even existed. First of all, I want to give credit to the person that suggested you guys to us, which is Audrey Lee of Zillow. And
Thank you, Audrey.
because you were the last component to all of the processes, the systems, and the tools that we have spaghettied together in the brokerage. And you are one of the biggest reasons why we're attracting agents. So
you're attracting agents because of Sisu?
Yes.
Explain that.
Explain that, because back in the day, when an agent comes into our brokerage and they ask me, well, how many houses have you sold? What are you looking to sell? And what did you sell from the prior year? I'm like, I would be like, oh, Britt, can you pull that up? It's like, where is your cheat sheet? Like, that's the one thing, like, we're so tech savvy in our brokerage, but this is the one thing that we didn't really pay that much attention to, because we didn't have to. Well, at least in my mind, because we were so small. And as we scale, we had to have, you can just write everything in a notepad, or what do you call this?
It's very nice to be able to have that visual of not just
growth,
what you're doing now, but where you've been. And so it's really keeping track of all those numbers for you and just giving you a really nice visual of where you are, where you'll be by the end of the year, where your agents are. And it also builds this component of not just collaboration, but this competitiveness within the brokerage, which, as salespeople, as sales representatives, that's what our agents kind of feed off of. You want to not just crush the year, crush your numbers, but also see where you were in the years past, and where are you compared to other agents. So it's really nice to have all of those components right on a dashboard and be able to, as Hedda was saying, as she interviews new agents, to be able to show them that data and really show that we're not just saying we're growing, but also show the numbers.
Yeah, there's proof. Like, I can whip out my Sisu. I'm like, God, I feel so like fancy right now. Like, whip out my Sisu dashboard. And I said, look at all these trajectory and look at this graph. We're like, wow, we're speaking math. Like, we're talking numbers. We speak the language, not only we're saying it, we're showing it. And the agents that we interview, or even our agents in-house, they can see that we went from here to here and then all of a sudden to here. Like, just giving you an idea, in 2018 we only sold $56,000, and then, or $56 million, sorry, $56,000, $56 million, and that's with part-time agents. And about 14. And then in 2010 or 19, we ended up with still, like, we didn't really hire the agents, more of the agents towards October and November. And, some were trickling in, but maybe would go from 10 to 15 at that point. Our growth didn't really happen towards the very end. So we didn't really have a whole lot of, enough time to like do the sales. But I would say last year we did almost $90 million with 10 people. And then, that's including commercial, obviously. And then residentials, we did, I think, 70 something. This year, this year, when everyone started onboarding, I think we hit 100. So last year we sold 136, and then before June,
units, 136
units, sorry, 136 units. And then this year, before June ended 2020, we already sold more than 136 houses.
If you've been enjoying Grit, please help us continue to grow the channel by leaving a 5-star review and sharing it with a friend. Now back to Grit.
And we've already sold over $100 million. How do I know? Because I just looked at my Sisu this morning. And then I think we probably have, assuming that all of our agents have updated everything, we already hit over, I think we have 107 or $110 million. That's already closed so far this year. And then we have another, I don't know, $15-20 million that's in escrow right now. And we have closed 191 or 192 units so far. And I don't know, like, the goal, we're probably going to hit maybe 250. Had we not have a lack of inventory in San Diego, would probably be close to 300. There's just no inventory. But
so you've taken your business in 2019, you were at 130. You're expected to hit 250. You're over 100 million already. And it sounds like you're going to be close to probably 180, 200 million, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. It's super exciting to see that. In recruiting agents, you said you're super intentional about that. What do you do? How do you recruit agents?
Do you want to start, Raquel, and then I'll?
Well, I feel it's kind of like the law of attraction, right? A lot of the agents that we do recruit are through personal referrals or business referrals, but we do have a process. Typically, Hedda will meet them first. If she feels that they might be the right fit, then Brittany and I are basically the second part of the interview. Then we ask certain questions, and then because we, like Hedda said, we are very tech savvy here, and we not only want the person to be the right fit, because we do have certain criteria that we look for in a person, because we do want to make sure that the data is being input by the agent, and so we need to make sure that they are willing to learn and grow with the brokerage as we move forward, and so that's part of what we look for. I feel like it's also, we've built a really nice culture here where everyone that's here wants to be here. Everyone
Right.
that's here wants to tune into our weekly or we actually have two meetings a week, and they want to be there. And that's what's so nice about it, that we have
What?
this of agents that are so collaborative.
So I love hearing this. I want to know, what do you guys discuss in those two meetings? Why do your agents want to be there?
Okay,
That's not
so
normal for a brokerage.
no, it's not. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so anyone that's listening, okay, we went from having one meeting a month, okay, one meeting a month, and to like having two meetings a week. And sometimes there's even other meetings thrown in the week. And I can't tell you, the attendance is remarkable. And I thought we're pushing them to do something, you know. Agents wants to be part of something. I was a solo agent at one time. They want to be in a, they want to be in an environment where they learn from one another, where no one's judging them, where everyone's encouraging them. So that's really what we do. So first of all, the agent that we're looking for has to be, I'm looking for somebody who has closed at least 3 deals to 5 deals. We do not hire agents off the street or off real estate school just yet, but we will work on that because everything's moving so fast. An agent that comes to our brokerage are either looking to become a team leader, and that's where we teach them and make them into a team leader with the business that we will give them so they can feed their entire team. So an individual agent who wants to grow and become a team leader, or the agent that just wants to be part of what Palisade Realty has to offer. And then number three is an agent who is so ready, who's done enough education, but no one has ever given them the chance to just, no one has given them a lead or a business. Say, here you go, Raquel, here's 20 deals, go do something with it. So what we promise our agents is we will give you 50% of what it takes to succeed. That's including the business itself, the training, what to say, what to do. We will even create your listing presentation, your packet presentation. We will do all of your marketing. We will include that in your we will do a video, I mean, anything and everything. Okay, we will create your flyers, and then
But the other 50%
yeah, it has to come from them. And yeah, and we have now a database manager who's sitting there and analyzing the data for the agents, and he reaches out to them, asks them for help. So what we've done is, like, I just kind of resorted back to when I was just a solo agent, and what was it that I needed at the time in order to succeed. So now I'm giving them the business, and we're giving them the tools, the trainings, and everything else. The support is really what we're trying to expand on. And our agents, I think they love that. I mean, if an agent doesn't know how to input one person to follow up boss into YLOPO, and then now from YLOPO they become a real transaction, how to go into Sisu, we literally sit there with them and like, okay, go click here, go from point A to point B. We have people to help them do that now. And then we have scripting classes. Scripting, really, I know it sounds horrible to say scripting, but it's really just talking points. It's giving our agents, talking points. I have personally processed in my days a minimum of 50 online leads a week. That's 50 leads a week, and that's kind of a lot. So I've talked to a lot of people in my days, and I'm still in production right now. And really, the goal is to ultimately, just help out everybody else and be out of production.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing an amazing job of that. You guys talked about the competitive spirit of your brokerage, which is really your culture. That's what you've driven. Let's share a little bit more about that. We only have 3 minutes left, but
okay.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. And then I know you guys have really shifted to this culture of positive accountability as well.
Right.
So maybe we could hit on that.
I didn't think that people wanted to be accountable, and I think I literally took the word independent contractor literally. They don't independent contractor, that's just in writing, but in essence, agents do not want to be really doing everything by themselves. So when we say accountable, it's like, hey, you know what? Showing up for yourself, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to show up. Meaning, like, if you're going to spend time and taking time out of your life, make it meaningful. Don't just do things half-ass, excuse me, but that's what a lot of people do. And I make a commitment. You have to do this job full time if you want it to give it a full time result. And that's what we do with our agents. We ask them, if you have too much going on, if life is happening to you personally, let me know. So let's put you on pause so you don't have to get overwhelmed with so much business. Or if you have too much going on, we step in, we ask, what can we do to make your life easier? What are you struggling with? Is it the system? Do you have too many tasks? Why don't you call Michael and talk to Michael and have him help you with your task? So Michael also helped them calling their leads. And so really it's competitive side. I think Sisu has put a little spin on it. So, like when they see their leaderboard, like, hey, so and so is number one. I mean, they're like, oh, I'm going to be there tomorrow too, or I'm going to be there next month. I think that's really,
it gives them a different drive, I feel.
Right.
It's given them a little bit more of not just what's in front of them, but actually reaching for their goals. It's giving them their numbers and really allowing them to set their own bar and try to reach it.
Right. And it's also like, when I say competitive, it's being competitive within themselves and also like at the same time lifting others up. If somebody is struggling, I mean, like, oh my gosh, Brian, I wish you can be in our Facebook group or in our chat, because our agents are like, hey, this is what I do. This is what you can do. Hey, do you want me to let me teach you on how to say it this way and do it that way? Do you know how many hand raisers we have when it comes to like, hey, I'll do the Zoom meeting? I was like, wow, that's really, I mean, it's remarkable. They're so excited and they want to be part of it. And I think what we do is we ask our agents, what can we do to make it better for you? Asking for feedback really has what's changed all of these, because you can't tell people what to do. There's no way on earth that you can have somebody, like, what's the right word that I'm thinking of? More about,
you can't force somebody to do what they
exactly. But I think when you ask them what is it that they want to do and then help them from there, I think that's really the key.
Yeah.
You can't motivate. Oh, that's the word. You can't motivate people to do what you want them to do. They have to be motivated by their own will. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys, I just want to congratulate again both of you. You're from where you were in 2019 and now 2020 and where you're heading in 2021. Just remarkable job. Anyone approaching 200 million in their business deserves a big round of applause. That's a big, huge milestone. So we're thrilled to have you guys as customers. We love being a part of your business. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. If you have an interest in a free 7-day trial of Sisu, go to sisu.co, sisu.co. Make sure that you use the coupon code GRIT, that's GRIT, to waive all your setup fees and receive a 10% discount on your subscription. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and want to subscribe, search GRIT, the Real Estate Growth Mindset, on iTunes, Spotify, or Podbean. And with that, we'll catch you next time. Take care.